Alright, big news and quick facts. First, Jalen Carter got ejected from the season opener after an on-field exchange with Dak Prescott that ended with Carter spitting on Prescott's jersey. And the league has now fined him $57,222, essentially a full week's pay, while treating his ejection as a one-game suspension that has already been served. That means, officially, the NFL isn't adding extra game time to the punishment. But Carter did lose that big paycheck and the public backlash that comes with it. If you watch the clip, it all happens almost instantly. A verbal exchange, a reaction from Carter, an official throws a flag, and he's escorted off before the first play is even run. League officials are clear that this sort of behavior crosses a line, especially when it involves spitting on another player. So the fine is as much about punishment as it is about sending a message on sportsmanship. For fans who want the timeline, the ejection occurred right at kickoff. Carter didn't take a snap, and the NFL's ruling essentially treated that ejection as time served for a suspension. You probably heard Carter apologized afterward. He expressed remorse, and the team and his agent indicated he won't appeal the fine, and that he's expected to be available moving forward. From a pure roster perspective, this incident won't cost the Eagles any games beyond the one he already missed from being ejected. But from a reputation perspective, it's a different story. Carter's name is already attached to a few on-field discipline moments, and the league's sportsmanship emphasis this season makes anything like this stickier than it might have in the past. Quick question for you. I want to know how you feel. Was the NFL's punishment enough? Drop a quick fine or suspend in the comments right now so I can see where the fan base stands. And while you're there, if you're not subscribed yet, please hit subscribe. We're pushing hard for 16,000 subscribers so we can keep doing quick, clear reaction videos like this one. If you like this breakdown, smash the like button so more Cowboys fans see it. When you look at what happened with Jalen Carter, it's not just about one moment. The league doesn't hand down a fine of nearly $60,000 without some history behind it. Carter is still early in his career, but he's already collected a few marks on his record. There was the rough incident in the NFC Championship game when he hit Cowboys center Tyler Biadasz after the whistle, and another against the Steelers, where he tangled with their punter. None of those moments were career-defining by themselves, but together they paint a picture the NFL can't ignore. The league is always sensitive to reputation. If you keep stacking up questionable plays, the refs start watching you a little closer, and the league office keeps your name at the top of the discipline file. Think about Albert Hainsworth back in the day. Once you get labeled as someone who crosses lines, every move is scrutinized. Carter isn't there yet, but when the spitting incident happened, it hit a nerve because of that building perception. That's why the fine was so steep. It wasn't only about punishing one act, it was about sending a message that enough is enough. This year, the NFL has also been very vocal about sportsmanship. They want the game to be as physical and intense as ever, but they don't want ugly incidents that reflect badly on the league. When one player spits on another, it's not just seen as disrespectful, it's seen as an image problem. The NFL doesn't want high school or college players thinking that's part of the game. That's why you saw the quick and public response, and why Carter's name may now be quietly added to what insiders call the watch list. Now, here's where I want your input. Do you believe a player's past should influence current discipline? In other words, if this exact incident had happened to someone with a spotless record, should the punishment be lighter? Drop your take in the comments, and let's see where Cowboys Nation stands. And don't forget, every new subscriber helps us get closer to that 16,000 goal. So if you love this kind of breakdown, hit that button and join the conversation. So now that we know the facts of the case and the background on Carter, the real question is, what does this mean going forward? For the Eagles, the most immediate relief is that they won't be without Carter beyond the game he already lost from the ejection. That's a huge win for them, because Carter is a difference maker on that defensive line. Losing him for multiple weeks could have created real problems in their rotation. Instead, they take the fine, accept the slap on the wrist, and move on with their full roster intact. That's what frustrates a lot of Cowboys fans, because it feels like Philadelphia gets off lighter than Dallas players often do. For Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, it's a different story. Dak handled himself in the moment with poise, but there's no question an incident like this leaves a mark. Rivalries are already fueled by emotion, and something as disrespectful as being spit on adds fuel to the fire. Don't be surprised if you see Dak come out even sharper the next time these teams meet. He doesn't need bulletin board material to be motivated, but this kind of thing has a way of sticking in a quarterback's memory. From a team perspective, though, the Cowboys will likely take the high road. Publicly, they know the league already acted, so there's no upside to continuing the drama in the media. But let's be honest, for fans, this is about respect. Cowboys Nation sees the difference in how the league has treated players like Ezekiel Elliott in the past. When he was suspended 6 games despite no charges, compared to what feels like a softer touch with Philadelphia, that fuels a perception of double standards. And it's why emotions run so high whenever discipline cases come up. Carter's availability makes the Eagles stronger in the short term. But for Cowboys fans, it just adds another layer of frustration. Here's where I want to bring you in. If you were Jerry Jones, would you address this publicly and call out what you see as unfair treatment? Or would you keep quiet and focus on football? Drop your answer in the comments, and I'll be curious to see which side wins out. Call it out or stay silent. And while you're down there, don't forget to like this video. If you want more deep dives into these rivalry moments, every like pushes the channel to more fans, and every new subscriber gets us one step closer to that 16,000 milestone. The reaction to Yolan Carter's fine has been loud, and not just from Cowboys fans. Across social media, you can see 2 camps forming. On one side, people are saying the NFL handled this fairly, that the ejection itself was already a big punishment, and that the fine was hefty enough to send a message. On the other side, fans, especially in Dallas, are pointing out the history of how discipline has played out in the past, and they see a double standard. When Ezekiel Elliott was suspended 6 games without an arrest or a charge, it felt like the league wanted to make an example. But when an Eagle spits directly on Dak Prescott, it's just a fine and time served. That comparison is driving a lot of frustration right now. The media has picked up on it too. Some analysts have already framed this as the league letting the Eagles off the hook again, while others are defending the decision by pointing out that spitting, while disgusting, doesn't rise to the level of violence or criminal behavior. For Cowboys fans, though, that argument doesn't carry much weight. Respect matters, and spitting on a player, especially your quarterback, cuts deeper than a simple fine can cover. It's about the message it sends, and right now it feels like the NFL is saying it's not that big of a deal. And then there's the fan-to-fan debate. If you scroll through Twitter, Facebook groups, or even YouTube comments, you'll see fans of other teams mocking Cowboys Nation, who takes pride in leading his team with composure. From a league perspective, this situation tells us a lot about the NFL's approach to discipline this season. They're clearly trying to balance punishment with reputation management. Carter's past incidents likely weighed into the decision, and the league wanted to make a point about sportsmanship without unnecessarily impacting the Eagles' roster. For Cowboys fans, that might feel frustrating, but it also gives you a lens for how similar incidents might be handled in the future. Knowing the patterns helps set expectations. Now, here's what I'd advise keeping an eye on. 1. How Carter behaves going forward. The NFL has him on notice, and any repeat incidents could be punished more severely. 2. Watch how the Cowboys front office handles messaging. Jerry Jones and his team typically weigh the pros and cons of making public statements, and in rivalry moments like this, every comment is analyzed. Finally, keep track of social media and fan sentiment, because that's part of the story too. It's not just about the field. Perception matters, and the league is always listening. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you one last time. After everything, was the NFL's punishment fair? Too light or too harsh? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and it's always interesting to see where Cowboys fans stand. And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We're pushing for 16,000 subscribers, so we can keep bringing you this kind of analysis every week. Staying informed, staying engaged, and backing your team with knowledge is how we all win as fans. That's it for now, but keep your eyes on the Eagles-Cowboys storyline. This rivalry always delivers. And incidents like Carter's fine remind us why these games matter. Stay tuned, stay loud, and I'll see you with the next update.